entered the Houston Running Zone, the ultimate podcast for runners in the Houston area, featuring the everyday runners who inspire us, clubs, gear, races, and runcations. Houston, we've got the runs.
All right, today in the zone, I have another Chevron Houston Marathon ambassador. He's part of Team Catapult, and of course, he's balancing family life, work life, having a life. Is Blake Alderfer. Blake, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is awesome. We're just kind of talking before we hit record. Is that you replied to a story from another podcast episode, and next thing you know, 2 hours later, we scheduled this in. So I like the go-getterness of you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it was Rosa. She was another Chevron Marathon ambassador. She did an awesome job. So just from the, was hyping her up, and then now here we are. Yeah,
cool. Well, I love having ambassadors on here because obviously you get some perks, but being an ambassador, it's really all about giving back, and you guys do it with a smile and you guys enjoy it, or really giving, I should say. What was the main reason or reasons that you decided to become a Chevron Houston Marathon ambassador?
I just thought, so Chevron was the first really big half marathon and then eventual marathon that I ever ran. And I'm not originally from Houston. I'm from the Philadelphia area. So when I first ran Chevron half, I had seen my sister-in-law run Chevron a few years ago and was just really impressed by the turnout of the city. And that's something that has really stood out to me. And then I decided to run the half marathon. And then this past year I ran the full marathon, and it's just such an exciting race. It's such a big party. And it was just something that I wanted to be a part of. So I filled out the application without much expectation, and was excited to, get the email that I was selected to be an ambassador this year. So really it's just an incredible race. And running has helped me kind of build roots within Houston. So to be a part and represent that race was just something that felt important to me, and something I wanted to be involved in.
Yeah, that's cool. You mentioned you're from the Philadelphia area. You played soccer, a hardcore band.
Yeah.
None of that transfers into distance running, let alone you've been here for a while. It's hot. Like, right. Why did you go to distance running out of everything else you could have done?
Well, I think I always ran in soccer. So that kind of translated. And then I guess after, I stopped playing music, and I was looking for a way to stay fit and healthy. And it just was kind of like an easy, low cost hobby, I guess you could say at the beginning. Obviously you learn pretty quickly that you want cool shoes and cool gear, and that can change. But it was just something that seemed really accessible. You can just throw on your shoes, you can run out the front door. And it was a way to stay in shape, and just the challenge of it was really fun, and just to continue to push myself. And then eventually, when I was living in the Philadelphia area, I think it was like 2008, I did my first 5K, and just the energy of these races and the community that it builds is really exciting. And then I started doing some Spartan races and a Tough Mudder, and it just kind of evolved to continuing to want to challenge myself and test my limits and see what I was capable of. And then the community part came as well. And then that's been a huge part of, wanting to continue to participate, because there's so many great people. And there's story after story of how many incredible people are not only in the Houston running scene, but globally, that it's just a really special thing to be a part of.
Yeah, that's neat. And, soccer, a lot of sprints, hardcore band, guitar, bass, drums. What was your,
I started as the bass player, and then I transitioned to the vocalist or the screamer. So the cardio did help with that a little bit. But it wasn't like, that was just kind of a thing. It was an immature level of running at that point. I like my first half marathon, I think I did in 2013, and I did not train properly, and I just kind of like winged it. And I don't remember my finishing time, but it was not impressive. And, I cramped and limped my way through, and it was like not a great, I don't know, like it was a good experience, but it was not, I would say, an impressive result. But it did definitely help with the vocal part and jumping around on stage and all that kind of stuff.
All right. Well, since you were originally a bass player, I was a drummer, so we could hang out. All right, cool.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
man.
the guitar players they're off their own other league there.
Yeah, bass and drums. You gotta like be on the same page there,
Yeah, we're buds. Yeah, right.
Sure,
Cool.
sure.
So obviously you're very goal driven. It seems like, but at the same time, you're kind of in the middle of the pack. So your motivation is just to can you continue to challenge yourself? More of a PR thing, or just I want to do my best. What seems to be like your motivation or your internal motivation, I guess.
I want to do my best, and I want to continue to grow and challenge myself. But I think there's part of it is like the mental health piece of it. That it helps. I find myself being a lot more patient and at peace if I can go out there and kind of like burn off excess energy or frustration from running. So there's a lot of, obviously you want to be successful, you want to get better. Seeing PRs is exciting and fun, but I try not to be too wrapped up in that because of all of the other additional benefits that running has. If there's like an opportunity, one of the things I've grown in that, I've really pushed myself to try to take advantage of the community opportunities and the social events, like over being focused on my training and PRs. And I don't want to be too like hyper focused on, I'm going to skip these social events so I can train alone. And so if it means I have to run a shorter distance or slower or something like that, then I try to use that as a motivation. So I am in the middle of the pack. I've really again, this was my first marathon that I just ran in this last Chevron. And I think I finished in like 4:52, which my goal was like 4.5, but it was my first one. I was a little conservative and it was hot that day from what I understood compared to other years. So I was just happy to finish. This year I'm running Philadelphia Marathon in November and then Chevron again in January. So I've got some more ambitious PR goals there, just to see what I'm capable of. But it's really a balance to try to get, obviously grow and get better, but also enjoy the other benefits of running as well.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you kind of mentioned the whole mental health aspect of it. People kind of forget. And I can imagine if you're so hyper focused, I'm not, but a lot of people some people are hyper focused on PRs, that it becomes a demotivation, which is kind of like you just shot yourself in the foot there. I can understand, being let down and everything, but as far as a community, that's what got me into running, or regular running, I should say. Do you focus on like the weekend events, or do you do what do you do like on a regular basis? Are there like weekday night runs that you do with the community, or what's your normal weekly schedule?
So Wednesday nights, I do team catapult practices at Memorial Park, or if it's the first Wednesday, we go to Holler Brewing, and the Hollers are there as well. And then on Friday nights, I will, if I can make it, I'll go out to Freaks Run Club as well, and then races throughout the year. So it was interesting being not coming from Houston, and my wife is from Houston. So like, as I moved down here, I kind of like piggybacked off her friends and her relationships, and running was a way that I kind of forged my own. So my first quote unquote running friend his name is Brandon. He does every single street running. So I saw what he was doing. I thought it was cool what he was doing. And I just kind of reached out. I thought we would maybe be friends based on things he had posted and things like that. So I said, let's go on a run, near my, in my area where I know where to run if you need any streets. So we did that. And then he told me about Catapult. And at first it was really another one of our ambassadors, Alejandro, posted a video about like, what was harder for you to get into racing or get into running clubs? And for me, it was really hard at first to get into going to running clubs like alone. And that was something that I kind of had to overcome, being, I was newer to the city, and just to kind of like go there and not really know anybody and just kind of stand around and wait. And over time, like very quickly, I made friends, and it's been an incredible opportunity, but it really was something that I had to push myself to do, and to overcome some of that social anxiety to go out there. But it's incredibly rewarding. So I guess one of the things I did want to touch on while we chatted was that if anybody out there is like considering going to a run club or anything like that, I really encourage you to do it, because everybody's so welcoming. And once you are part of it, you will not regret it. And it'll be a really fulfilling part of your life. And it'll open up so many other opportunities, and it'll make running that much more fulfilling. So, yeah. But Wednesday nights with Team Catapult, and then Friday nights are with Freaks Run Club are the ones that I try to frequent.
Yeah. And you've mentioned a couple other ones, and, shout out to FFP running clubs that started it. They're free running clubs, all paces. Like you don't have to be a certain level. There are other running clubs that are, and that's very niche, whatever you want to say. But sure. FFP, like it's amazing what they put together. And there's tons of other ones as well. But I kind of want to pick your brain on Catapult, because Brandon, I interviewed him. It's been almost 2 years now, but amazing individual. I think he's really rocking those runs. Of course, Houston's growing by the second, so right. He has a lot to catch up on. Yeah. But Catapult, and so I've when I'm not running the marathon or half, I've actually only run the marathon for Houston, but I volunteer. So I always see like a lot of the different clubs, and Catapult. That's just awesome what you guys do. I've never done anything like that. I've done like Ainsley's Angels and other things like that, but how did you get involved? Because that is like you're responsible for somebody, like if we want to walk, we'll walk. Like, okay, I want to do a 4-hour marathon. Cool. If I want to do a 5.5, sure. Whatever. It's hot. I broke a nail, whatever. But like, is it just the sense of giving back, or like that is a whole nother commitment right there?
It was something that really, as Brandon described it, he just described what the community was like. He described, the athletes, and giving back and being involved in something bigger than myself has always been something that has been important to me. And I think one of the pieces of advice in my life is like, if you can serve other people, it really puts you in a much healthier mind space, and you're not so focused on woe is me and the things that might be challenging in your life. And I think Catapult is an incredible example that you work alongside athletes that have visual, hearing, or physical challenges, and they're out there and they do not complain, and they have an incredible attitude, and they go and accomplish incredible things. So it really, to me, is like a partnership, because I get so much out of it running alongside these athletes and hearing their stories, and to be inspired. And it's just something that is really fulfilling and really fun. And it's just a community. We're all friends, and it's something I look forward to. And it's really incredible to see what the athletes are able to accomplish. And there's so many lessons that you can learn from different people, from the spouses, and that is something that has really stood out to me, is how not only the dedication that the athletes have, but also their spouses and their families to support them, to drive them to practices or to get them to races. And it's just it's like the front row seat to the best parts of humanity. And a lot of times, like you turn on the news and there's so much like really depressing stuff happening, but here you can go and be involved in an organization that's like truly a team, and we lift each other up, and we challenge each other, and we support each other. And it's really just a front row seat of, the best of humanity. And it is really like, it fills my cup every week to go and be with people that care about each other and support each other. And it's just a really incredible organization.
Yeah, that's cool. I'll definitely put a link to them. And of course, for people that want to just check it out, come by on a Wednesday. You said it's always at Memorial Park, correct?
In Memorial Park, Wednesday nights, except for the first Wednesday of every month, and then it's at Holler Brewing. Okay. And I have some notes here, if you don't mind. We can
you bet
that part out, and you can.
It's fun.
Bring it right up, like I had this off the top of my head. So, one of the things about Team Catapult and the Chevron Houston Marathon is that Team Catapult is a Run for a Reason organization. So you can register for the marathon or the half marathon to represent Team Catapult and fundraise for Team Catapult as a Run for a Reason organization. And then in October 20th to 22nd, there's a Learn to Run camp with Team Catapult. Last year is at the up in the Woodlands, and that is for athletes all over the country. They fly them in from all over the country, and there's opportunities if you're interested in learning to become a guide. There's clinics to learn how to guide, and then there are also clinics for the athletes to improve their. They have gait analysis, they have nutrition, all sorts of different things, lots of really great organizations that are involved within the running community come and support them and learn a lot. And it's just really incredible. And then in April, there is a gala that they do every year as well. And that information will be on the website as it is kind of put together. So there are the different opportunities. And if you're ever interested, you can message me or Brandon or anybody involved in Team Catapult about, showing up. And Brandon really taught me how to guide. He just said, come on out. And I just kind of followed along with him and watched what he did. And then he had me take over that first time. And we used a hand tether. So that's a tether that the athlete holds and then the guide holds. And it's kind of like a big rubber band. And you kind of describe what's happening as you're running and different changes in the ground and any trees that might be overhead and things like that. And so those are different ways to get involved if that's something that, piques your interest.
Yeah, I'll definitely pull up all the links and resources. And of course, links to your both y'all's Instagram, which is it's just a whole nother level to watch. And I've ran beside Catapult athletes and kind of noticed like, hey, we're coming up on a turn. We're coming up on what we call a hill here in Houston. So I've kind of witnessed how it all comes together. And at the same time, you still have to run. So it's like you're one man or sometimes a 2-person shop, I should say, of helping. Sometimes it's one guide, sometimes it's 2 guides. Is that correct?
Yeah. Okay. It is something. So something that I learned pretty quickly is it is much more mentally taxing than just like running by yourself. Because I think when you just go run by yourself, you can kind of get into that like mindful Zen mode where you're just kind of like mentally checked out and your mind is calm and you're just kind of moving. But when you're guiding, changes in the gravel, changes in the pitch of the ground, dogs are a big thing. Like if people don't have their dog, like the leash can run out. And cause a hazard and lots of different things. And sometimes we have either just one guide or 2 guides. Sometimes there's a guy in the front or guy or gal in the front. That's kind of like the bumper, which is a fun job because you kind of just yell that you're coming through. And then people either have headphones on and they're like, why is this guy yelling at me? And then they kind of give you a dirty look. But then I think it like takes a couple seconds for it to come together about what's going on. But it's awesome. It's rewarding. And to kind of finish together is a really fun thing. It's something that you accomplish together as a team. And I feel like that part that when it's called Team Catapult, it's really, going back to like, I'm an adult, I'm not on a soccer team anymore, but it really feels like it's something that we're all accomplishing together.
Yeah. That's what the memories are made out of not the easiest runs, but the most rewarding runs, I believe, are the best
For
memories. Sure. Now you're doing all this. You got a 2-month-old. I mean, you're trying to balance your family. Are you just like, here's my set schedule? Or are you thinking about, hey, maybe I should get a running stroller? Like, how are you balancing all this stuff? You got work life. What's your balancing act?
Well, first off, I have to give credit to my wife, who's super supportive and super awesome and knows how important this is to me and really helps me accomplish all that, whether it's coming back late from a practice and having food ready for me so I can just shower and get to bed and get up early because we both work in education. So she's a teacher and then I'm a teacher and I also handle like the tech side of my school. So, I mean, first and foremost, I have to, extend my appreciation to how supportive she is. And then he's not big enough for a running stroller yet, but I have one that I have set by that I'll be using. And I think it's been an adjustment for sure. It's something that I really feel is important for me to do to be my best self, to get out and run. So when he was born, it was obviously shorter runs, like 20, 30 minutes here or there. And now that we've kind of like established a better routine and he's sleeping more and, I've set a goal of like the November Philadelphia Marathon. And I have a training plan now. It's starting to come together and we're kind of having a plan around that. And, but having the support of my wife has been huge and it's enabled me to continue. I mean, it's not as intense right now because we're also on our summer hours. So we've got a little bit more free time. Once the school year picks back up, I'm sure it'll be more intense. And then I coach soccer in the fall. So once August hits, it's going to be real busy, but we'll make it happen.
All right, cool. Well, you're making it happen, and good optimistic attitude, which I like, and I think that makes a huge difference. So, being in tech, you got like a lot of gadgets, or you just tech is kind of like part of the job? Like
gadgets for
running gadgets.
Yeah. I used to have an Apple Watch, and then for my birthday, she got me a Chorus, which is really cool, but I have not nearly optimized it as much as I can. So I was asking my buddy who kind of like, he's a Chorus guy, so he kind of put me onto it. And I was asking him some questions about it. So the data is really cool to watch and to keep track of your, mile times and splits and all that kind of stuff. But I know there's things about it, like you can create a whole digital like training plan and then it sync to your watch and all that. I haven't quite done that yet, but I'm playing with it. But as far as like, I don't know, I'm in tech so much during the day that when I get home, I try not to like open my laptop as much because it's just, I'm on it all day long. And then once I get home, I kind of want to be detached from it a bit. So that's another part where running is helpful because I can get outside and, exercise and push myself and feel a little bit more alive outside of just, tech stuff. And for anyone listening, if you work and people have tech people at your job, try to remember your passwords because that's like a big thing that we do all day.
Try to get real life stuff here as well.
Yeah. But if you remember your passwords, that cuts down about like 40% of the stuff that we have to do during the day.
Reset number. Capital letter. Oh my goodness.
And when we say, have you restarted your computer yet? It's not because we don't want to help you. It's because that like solves 90% of the problems. And, once you do that and then it doesn't work, then we know we've got something more annoying to deal with. So.
Well, that is useful, but also I'm kind of glad to kind of mention, kind of like unplugging from a lot of the tech. And a lot of people, live and die by their GPS watch and everything else like that. I want to get your input on this. Do you run with or without music?
I like to do podcasts while I'm training. And then on race day, I like to listen to music to kind of get me like pumped up. But I think it's a cool way. It's a good opportunity to kind of like double dip on like exercising my body. And then also maybe exercising my mind is a little like dramatic based on the podcast I listen to. But, it's an opportunity to kind of like expand the, I guess, base of knowledge that I have. So, I mean, running podcasts like yours and other things like that is a great way to, while I'm running, to kind of stay. It's a motivating factor to hear people's stories and to get tips and all that. And you can kind of like, while you're in the process of running, to be consuming that and keeping you motivated as you hear people's stories of what they've been able to accomplish. And so I'm during training, I like to do podcasts, and then on races, I like to do music.
Well, let's kind of back up on the podcast. Any other podcasts that you recommend that people could listen to?
Obviously, Houston Running Zone podcast is a great one for
highly biased. Yeah, they're
highly biased. There's a Strength Running podcast I really enjoy with Jason Fitzgerald. That's a good one I've enjoyed. I'm from Philadelphia, so there's a 76ers podcast called the Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast that I enjoy. Let's see what else. Some like political ones that I'll like to listen to sometimes. I don't want to be too divisive, so I won't mention those. But sometimes, like topical, like political news stuff. And the Grind Effect is another good one that is Houston based. Mm-hmm. So yeah, let me look. I have them all up here. I've been playing fantasy baseball since I was in college. So there's a fantasy baseball podcast that I listen to. And then there's some like true crime, like documentary series podcasts that I'll listen to sometimes as well. So, and it's like some of it is like history based, like looking at historical events. There's one, what is it, the exact call? It's all about like the history of interesting things that have happened in Philadelphia, which is a fun one that I like to listen to. Yeah. Radio Rental is a kind of like it's the actor who plays Dwight Schrute. What is his name? From The Office. Shucks. He does one where he plays like this character that owns like a scary movie like video store, and he like recites these stories. It's cool. It's kind of like a nonfiction kind of like spooky story kind of podcast, and which is pretty cool. So whatever I'm really feeling in the mood for, there's a lot of different options there, but I find that's a nice way to kind of keep my attention and distract me from the pain of my workout at times.
You are in the Houston running zone. We've got the runs.
And they can be 20 minutes, 60 minutes, sometimes even longer, I'd imagine, versus the same 10 songs. But you said race day, you're going for the music. What's your jam?
I like to do a lot of like 2000s pop punk, like MXPX and stuff like that. That's like real fast and energetic, and some like hardcore and things like that. So kind of stuff that there's that joke that I haven't listened to any new music in the last 15 years, but that's kind of like that old stuff that the nostalgia of it and the energy of it and everything really gets me hyped for racing. So, and then the other thing with it is that like I found like, okay, I know that songs are like roughly 3 minutes each. So it's like, oh, I only have to listen to like 10 more songs, then I'm done. Kind of like you can kind of like parse out how much longer you have to race by how many songs you have to listen to. So
all right.
It's fun. What about you? What do you like to listen to?
Well, I stopped listening to music actually. Just to find my mind, I can think of ideas and things like that. But I used to love running with music, and now I'm like, even a walk, I'm just like, nah, like to zone out. Yeah,
nice.
But everybody's different. Whatever whatever works. Absolutely. I was curious, could you even hear for the first couple miles in Houston music, because it's so loud, like the crowd, and you mentioned the community. Yeah, like the whole city comes out.
I didn't listen to it at first. I kind of turned it on. It's interesting that you brought that up, because yes, that is true. Because up until I think like the turn, there maybe were parts before the turn towards the full marathon where I had it on, but I just like to absorb that energy for a while, and then obviously I'm looking for like family and friends in the crowd and everything. But once you get that turn and it starts to get a little bit more quiet and those spots, those little pockets that are like not as crowded, I think that really helps. But yeah, 5Ks, especially. I mean, if it's not, the big Chevron race, like local 5Ks and stuff, or 10Ks, I like to listen to it because those are shorter and faster, and you're not that you don't get up for the marathon, but obviously you have to pace yourself a little bit, and you don't want to burn out all your energy right away. So, but with the 5K, you can kind of like burn it out pretty quick, and you'll survive. So
yeah, worst case, just turn it louder. It's fine.
Yep. Absolutely.
Well, you've ran Houston before. You're running again this year. Is there anything else that you really love about the actual Houston race or the race weekend, I guess?
It's so cool how the community comes out and how all of the different personalities that come together and how the city just really it's just so fun to sit back and watch the city come together for something so special because it really shuts down like a lot of the streets and I'm just really blown away by how much the city comes out and supports it. And everybody that's out there on cheering you on, and it's all these strangers. I mean, I'm sure they're out there because they know somebody, but for them to take the time to get up early to bring signs to cheer us on, and I always like to look at the different signs. I try to like run on the edge so I can kind of like see what all the different signs are because people are really creative and funny, and it always just really. It's a great distraction and also just brings, joy to my heart to see everybody out there cheering each other on. And again, like that front row of the best parts of humanity, I get again is out there. And then also just like to see people accomplish their goals is just such a exciting thing. And once you cross the finish line and then you're back in the convention center and you see people that you know and your friends and you get to hug them and give them high fives and celebrate this accomplishment that we were all able to do. It's just a really, really special event. And compared to other races that I've run in other areas, the city just turns out and it's a great celebration. And it's a really, really special race.
Yeah, it's awesome. And yeah, it's crazy. It could be cold. It could be hot. It could be raining. It could be cold and raining.
Yeah.
They still come out. Which I appreciate. 'Cause my first one was cold and rainy. So there we go.
Now, how would you, I've only run the half marathon 2 years ago was good weather. I think this past year was hot. Would you rather take cold and rainy or would you rather take hot?
I'll take cold and rainy.
Yeah.
Don't bother me at all.
The rain doesn't bother you?
It's 100% humidity anyway. So, but everyone's different. And there's one Woodlands marathon I did. So it must have been 2014, I think. And it was so hot. Every medic station you go by, there was an elite just
wow.
getting service. And you don't want to see that.
No.
There's a chance people will, get hypothermia and stuff like that in the cold, but it's less of a chance in cold for season. I like, people can bundle up, the spectators can bundle up, but when it's hot, bad stuff could happen. There's a bigger percentage of bad stuff that could happen, but some people, they're okay with the heat. So who knows?
Yeah. The humidity, right? I think the humidity in the mornings, at least right now, is pretty brutal.
Yeah. I think it's definitely one of the hottest heat waves this early in the season. So
for sure.
But if you can put up with this, January is going to be a breeze for you.
Hey, that's something that I'm trying to embrace right now because my wife's like, "Be careful, it's really hot." I'm like, "I know. I'm gonna slow it down," but it'll that infamous heat training that everybody talks about, right? That'll pay off when it's colder and. So I am trying to embrace that and remember that it's what do they call it? The poor man's altitude.
Yeah.
So
you're going to go in Philly in November, just demolish your time. I mean,
I hope so.
It's going to be awesome.
I hope so. That would be cool.
Yeah. So you're looking forward to some of the ambassador perks, like doing was it Takeover Tuesday? I believe they call them.
The Takeover Tuesdays. So far, we've done a lot of really cool stuff, and just being a part of that group of super inspiring and exciting people. I think that was another thing that kind of was attractive and kind of piqued my interest in applying to begin with, just because the group of people that have been a part of it for the last few years, as I've kind of watched, just as a participant, it was just so compelling and. How inspiring they were, and just to kind of be a part of that. I think I'm a newer runner. I'm not like super good. I'm kind of middle of the pack. But to just be a part of that community and try to inspire people and get them excited about the race, and if maybe encourage somebody who's maybe on the fence to go for it, would be cool. But yeah, the perks. We did something really cool with the Houston Dynamo. That's not out yet, but they're working on releasing that. Just like, again, it's just, you just inherit this new group of friends, which is really fun. So now people, when I go to Freaks, like the ambassadors that have been going to Freaks that I never really knew, now we're friends and we see him there and we hang out and say what's up. And it's been really great. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to see, I know it's Takeover Tuesdays, but I'm going to try to do Takeover Wednesday so I can do like a takeover at a catapult practice so people can kind of see what that looks like. So I'm kind of bending the rules there a little bit, but hopefully they'll let me do that.
Yeah. You're a day late or 6 days early, whatever works.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that it'll be more compelling than anything that I come up with like in my own personal life. So I hope that like,
yeah. And it's unique as far as not everybody does it or not everybody believes they can help participate and all that stuff is just, I think it's all about community and people, stop, slow down. What's life all about? It's about helping others. And then the payoff is, so many other payoffs.
Also, any athletes out there that may not know about Team Catapult and the opportunities that are there, the training, the support, they have grants for, equipment and race fees and transportation and things, all that kind of stuff. So, so hopefully just trying to get the word out for that, even for people who want to guide or for athletes who are looking to get involved with racing or fitness and physical health, all that kind of stuff.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, I definitely want to probably pick your brain while it gets closer to race time. And after we're done, we'll just hang out for a couple of minutes because I want to ask you some stuff off off the microphone here. But before I let you go, actually, any other thing you'd like to plug that you think people would want to be a part of before I ask you the bonus questions?
I guess I just want to reiterate for something just like the run club thing, in that like if you or have any, because for me, like I would go and I have a great time and then the day would come around and sometimes I was like a game time decision where it's like, I don't know if I want to go and just like that anxiety of not really being super connected yet. And I'm always encouraged because especially at Freaks on Friday nights, Patrick always asks like, is there anybody here for the first time? And every single time there's new people there for the first time, whether they were brought by a friend or they just saw it online and we're curious to come and check it out. But I really encourage you, like, take the jump, push yourself to do it because, first couple times might be uncomfortable, not knowing anybody, but very quickly somebody will say what's up and be like, hey, is this your first? Or as soon as the people find out like, oh, it's your first time here, they're going to go over to you. They're going to talk to you. They're going to welcome you. And it's a great way to really like make friends and build a community that's going to support you. And that's, I guess, one of the things that I really wanted to hit on as I came on is to just encourage you, because I know it was such a rewarding thing in my life once I kind of got over that hurdle and pushed myself past that anxiety, and what a benefit and blessing to my life it's been.
Yeah, I have to ask you a question because I was a social director for 4 years, running clubs and love them. And a lot of times someone new would show up and they're like, well, I'm really not a runner. And they're like, well, I do a 10-minute mile. You're like, okay, you're right in the middle. There's people that go faster. Like, do you get a lot of people that say, I'm not a runner, and you realize they could like legit run faster, or, people run slower because they want to hang out with the new people? Like, do you ever get the people that say, I'm really not a runner?
Of course. Yeah. I mean, my brother's coming. He's coming into town to visit the baby. He lives in New York. They're coming and I'm taking him to Freaks. And he's like, I was like, dude, it's like running is the vehicle to the community and the friendship. It's like, you don't have to go out there and impress people by how good you are. You just have to, just being there is what it's about. Like, some people gather around like food or board games or whatever, like the act that we are, or like working on cars or whatever, like the thing that we're doing is running to build community. Like your value is not based on how fast you are or what your mile time is or your split or how many miles you can go for. That's not what your value as an individual is. It's there to build a community and to build friendships and support each other and have a community to rely on each other. And, Freaks, for example, and I know other running clubs do it. They also do a ton of charitable events as well. So it's really an opportunity to get involved and build community, especially kind of like as we have exited COVID and so many people felt isolated and lonely and had fractured relationships or whatever, like, or if you move to a new city. There's a guy the other night that I think was from Norway, and he just came up to him and says, "Hey guys, what's your name?" And I thought like he had been there for a while. I was like, "This is my first time. I've moved here from Norway to work in oil and gas. I've been here for 2 weeks, and I heard about this run club, so I'm here." And he was like going and talking to people, and that like the courage that he had was impressive to me because it was so challenging for me to do that. But yeah, don't get tied up in like, you're not fast enough. That's not what people care about. They care about your heart. They care about you as an individual. And running is what we do. It's not your value as a human.
Cool. Yeah. Great soundbite. And I want to get your take on it because it's always cool to hear someone else say what I've been saying for 10 years. But before I let you go, I got 3 more questions.
Sure.
Call it the lightning round. Are you ready?
Yes, that's it.
All right, let's see here. Question number 1. What is your must-have favorite piece of race gear? It could be shoe, could be watch, could be hat, could be whatever. Something you really love.
Oh, I like flashy shoes. So I like shoes. I've always liked shoes. So I would say probably, do you want like a specific shoe or just like in general?
Whatever you want. I'm going to still pick your brain as far as which shoe, because a flashy shoe, who doesn't like a flashy shoe?
I like flashy shoes, and I also like 5-panel hats, like the racing hats. So I'm a big hat guy too, and I also like have fair skin and I'm balding, so it protects me from the Houston sun. So one is for function, one is for like flash, I guess. Right now, as far as shoes going, I am very much enjoying the Hoka Rocket 2s for racing. I very much enjoy those, and I've been enjoying Ultra shoes because of the wider toe box. There's some other brands. I don't want to trash other brands, but there's some other brands that are very narrow in the toe, and it like early on it would like curl my pinky toe over, and I would like bleed, and so I like to try to find ones that have like some wider toe boxes, and Ultras are good for that. And there's some other brands that are pretty. So that's one of the things I look for, like in a shoe, is the wider toe box, so I don't crush my pinky toes.
Yeah. We lose enough toenails as it is. Why?
Yeah.
Have a shoe do it for you.
Absolutely. What about you?
I've been using Newtons for a long time. Okay. Also New Balance. But I have to, once I got into running and realized that you're not supposed to have a really tight shoe because your feet expand in the humidity and heat, then problems go away. Just common sense, size up a half on average, but from your regular shoes. But yeah, everyone's different, everyone's unique in it. But wide toe boxes, because your foot is designed to spread out. Craziness. All right, question number 2. If you could run with anybody, alive or past, who would it be?
Ooh. Oh, shucks.
And it could be a walk as well. Just anybody that you'd like to run, walk, and talk to. Pick their brain.
I would like to go on a walk with my great uncle Ollie, who had passed away during COVID unexpectedly. So I think I grew up with him, and in addition to my father, who was a great role model and a great father figure, he was also an influential father figure in my life. And I think now, as a new father, I think it'd be really meaningful to kind of like go. He like smoked a lot, so I don't think he would want to run, but we could go on a walk with the stroller and talk and have him meet my son. I think that would be really special.
Yeah. It's always good to pick someone's brain as far as being a new father. I mean, I was a new father 16 years ago, but it just changes your life, man. For sure, man. Or your outlook on life, I should say.
For sure.
All right. And question number 3, it's a bit polarizing, but I have to ask it. With you being in Texas now, Tex-Mex or Texas barbecue?
Oh, I think I got to go Tex-Mex.
Nice.
Do tacos count as Tex-Mex?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
No, they've adapted. I celebrate it all. Mexican traditional or Tex-Mex. So, okay. So any taco place is your jam, or you're making yourself?
So I've kind of got them like tiered. So they're like utilitarian taco, like easy, accessible, quick. It's going to be good, and you know what you're going to expect. We live right near a Tacos a Go-Go. So that's kind of like our go-to utilitarian taco.
But you got like you're spreadsheeting this out. You know this. This is great.
I've done some analysis on tacos, my friend, because they're way better down here. The food, like I gotta say, like since we're on the topic of Houston food and live in Houston, the Houston food scene is crazy good.
Well, that's because everyone's from somewhere else.
Yeah,
that's why. Yeah.
But like it's all good. Like everywhere you go is so good. My family comes down all the time and they're blown away. And then I remember like when my wife and I would go back to visit my family, we lived in like where my parents live is like the suburbs of Philadelphia. So it's the volume of quality food is not the same as in Houston. So Tacos a Go-Go, utilitarian quality taco. And then I really like Torchy's. And then for some like weird curveball tacos that are like different, Taco Stand has a taco called it's like the picnic chicken or something like that, which is supposed to simulate like a chicken sandwich or something, which is again curveball, weird, not traditional, and that was really good. So Torchy's I think is great. I always like to ask people like every year when I start the school year, I always like to kind of have icebreakers, and my icebreaker is who has the best queso.
Oh,
so
yeah, it definitely could get pretty nasty. Yeah, as far as fighting words,
What is your take on that?
Yeah, I don't want to make anybody mad. I prefer thicker. Some people like the viscosity of thin, and I'm like, well, it's just going to run off the chip. I like to get like max calories. Like I'll even eat it with I call it the queso skin because it grosses people out. after it's been sitting for a while. Yeah. It gets a skin on there. I call it a skin. People are like, that's disgusting. I'm like, more for me. So that's probably not the PC word for it, but that way I
understand what you're saying for sure.
The texture of it, but now you're throwing in like people adding chorizo and brisket and even just throwing in pico adds curveball. It's like it's a whole nother pico should be a whole nother, or I should say queso should be like a whole food category itself.
Oh, absolutely.
Should be a rule. We should definitely lobby that. I think so.
And my take is like I'm happy to try all of them.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to turn any away.
But yeah, being from most people are from somewhere else. It's like, they bring their traditional family recipes, open up restaurants, and people do fusion and all sorts of stuff. So, I'm kind of highly biased when people say, hey, let's go to this city. It has great food. I'm like, well, take me to that particular cuisine. Don't try to impress me with the cuisine that's not from there because I'm from Houston.
Yeah.
So what's your jam in Philly then? What's like your go-to Philly food when you go back?
So obviously there is the cheesesteak.
Are you going like what's your cheese on there? Are you going just provolone, wit?
I do stinky provolone. Like the stinkier the better is my thing.
Yeah, more flavor.
For sure. And I've got a funny story about cheesesteaks before I forget. If the curveball one is if you're ever in South Philly, and you go to John's Roast Pork, you get a roast pork sandwich there with stinky prove, and that is very good. And that's a quality sandwich. But when my wife and I think we were dating at the time, we were visiting Philadelphia, and I was like, I'm going to take her to a Flyers game because like hockey is a thing there.
Oh yeah.
And then we're going to go and get like an OG Philly cheesesteak. So we went to Tony Luke's. It was like under the overpass. And I made the mistake of getting her like the OG. So it was just like provolone, onions, and cheese. I should have gotten her like the entry level with some like green peppers and like roasted peppers and stuff like that. I made it a little bit more fancy, so to kind of like pique her interest. But it was funny to watch like this very kind Texas, Southern Houstonian, like in Philadelphia in this cheesesteak under the overpass, because we all order and then you just like stand there with your arms crossed in silence. And she like looks around and she's like, why is no one talking? And I was like, we don't do that. Wait. And she's like, so no one's going to talk to each other? And I was like, nah, no. So that was a funny like cultural difference in the two cities where we are from, which also, like, again, to circle back to Catapult, we had talked about like being that the guy in the front or the gal in the front, the bouncer kind of that like yells that people are coming through. Mm-hmm. I felt at home in that because I have no problem like being boisterous and I don't know if bossy is the right word, but I had no problem being like, hey, we're coming through, on your left. And I said to Brandon, I was like, how, because you're wearing Catapult stuff, you're representing the organization. Like how?
Yeah, you can't be over the top.
So where's the balance here? He's like, well, if they get hurt, it's your fault. So it's like, okay. So I tend to, and I was like a hardcore singer, so I can be loud. So I found that role fits me well. But people tend to like figure it out pretty quickly, like what's going on. Even if they have headphones in, and they kind of look and okay.
I like how your accent got like a little bit richer and deeper when you went into the boss mode there. That was pretty good.
Also, the teacher aspect, you got to flip that switch with the, I'm not messing around anymore voice. So,
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Once again, I appreciate all your time.
For sure. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. We'll put all the links up and definitely want people to check out Catapult, whether it's just, check out what they're all about, give back, fundraise, or just, you may know somebody that wants to be a part of Catapult. And we look forward to seeing on a Takeover Tuesday. Could be a Wednesday. We'll find out. And we'll put a link, of course, to Chevron Houston Marathon Instagram as well. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
As always, if you want to become the first to find out about upcoming weekly episodes, simply hit the plus, follow, subscribe button. Depends on your podcast platform. And if you're on a podcast app where you can leave a rating and review, we always love it. Hey, give us 5 stars if you like it. And if you don't like it, give us 5 stars anyways. You made it through the whole episode. But more importantly, looking forward to sharing another episode next week.
Thanks for visiting the Houston Running Zone. If you know someone you'd like to be featured in the zone, go to thehoustonrunningzone.com and send us a message. Until next week, always remember, Houston, we've got the runs.